30. Saturday, sunny with a high 48. Following forecast, Saturday night, clear with a low of 31. Sunday, sunny with a high of 56. Sunday night, clear with a low of 37. Monday, sunny with a high of 61. I'm Willie Mayo, KOFO News.
Stay tuned for the following special presentation from 1220 and 103.7 FM KOFO.
KOFO, your sports source for East Central Kansas and radio home of Ottawa University Braves Athletics, welcomes you to this edition of Hoop Talk, our weekly chat with OU Braves head basketball coaches Tarnisha Scott and Aaron Siebenthal. You can join us live for Hoop Talk right now at Primetime Grill at Fusion Alley in South Ottawa. Hoop Talk is brought to you by Primetime Grill, Ottawa University, and KOFO. Now, here's your host for Hoop Talk, KOFO's Luke Queen.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to tonight's first Ottawa University Braves Hoop Talk of the season. Luke Queen with you here tonight at the Primetime Grill here in South Ottawa, and talk Ottawa University Braves basketball. Joining me tonight, Ottawa University Braves assistant coach and former Brave All-American Phil McClintock. Coach, welcome in.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Not a problem. And a good day to bring in here is coming off of a win last night, an in-conference road win. Always big in the KCAC to get a road win, especially, as you dropped the previous four. I hate to bring up the bad part. We'll probably get into that a little bit, but first I wanted to kind of just start out last night as you guys are now 8-4 overall, 4-4 in KCAC play. 82-77 win last night over Friends. Really, to start with, after losing four straight, what was kind of the mindset of the guys going into, going on the road playing at a tough place like Friends?
Yeah, it's always a tough place to play. I mean, it's kind of weird. We've obviously losing four in a row, but our guys have been, in good spirits. And, I mean, the games have been so close. I mean, it would be different, I think, if we're getting blown out by, 20 every game. Mm-hmm. We knew, we know what we were getting into. But, I mean, it's a, 2-point game, 4-point loss. And so we're still playing okay. And, and we go to Friends, and we know we can beat anybody. And, it's just all about confidence with us. And we went in there, and we knew we could win. And the guys were in, a good mood, and we went and got the job done.
Absolutely. And, little maybe – I don't know if I want to say it was a slow start because it didn't take long. Friends hit a couple buckets real fast. You guys got back, took the lead, kind of went away from them. Then it was kind of back and forth for quite a while. Spread it out a little bit in the second half. And, they hit a couple shots down the stretch, honestly, to get it back close to it there.
Sure.
A little bit nervy, but, it was a great road win. A couple things just I noticed as I was watching it on the live stream, I felt like maybe last night was one of the best nights as far as on the offensive glass. 14, 15 offensive rebounds.
Yep.
Gave you guys, extra opportunities that Friends didn't get. And then also big-time production off the bench last night.
Yeah, sure.
Top two scorers came off the bench. Joe Johnson third and Ty Bland and Jackson Mallory, coming in, hitting a couple big threes as well. What is about this team? I just named three guys off the bench, but you look down the stat line and game to game, it's almost a different leading scorer every night.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
Now it's almost like 8 guys could do it at any given time.
Yeah, I mean, we're lucky to have a team that has a lot of talent. We try to preach unselfishness and playing together, and so when you preach that, it's not going to be a guy averaging 30 and everybody else averaging, 8 or 10 or whatever. So, I mean, we got guys that can do it on any night, and it's really just, hey, we just have to trust and, who's rolling that night. And last night it was Joe Johnson. He gets rolling, and we trust him, and he, has, I think, a career high or, close to it at least, and and we have that second group. Our bench group played a lot more than our starters, but we trusted it and it worked out for us. So,
you got playing the hot hand a little bit there, but when you've got it, you got to do that.
For sure.
You know, and it was Joe 5 of 8 from 3 as well. I think he started out 3 for 3.
Yeah.
You know, and also was the guy that seemed to get the ball in his hands, you know, as Friends was needing to stop the clock and get to the free throw line, knocking down all those as well.
Yeah.
So when you got a shooter going like that, you kind of give him that ball.
Definitely.
So, you know, it's good to know that they had that mindset going in last night. KCAC's tough. You guys, you know, we all know that. We've chatted about it many times. You know, you said the biggest loss in that 4-game losing streak, 5 points.
Yeah.
You know, 4-game losing streak, grand total of 12 points combined between that. So, you know, you're a shot here or there away from getting it taken care of. But before we, I guess, get into that, just kind of wanted to take you back this year a little bit more open again.
Yeah.
You know, getting Wilson Fieldhouse to be able to be packed out. And I want to take you back, you know, I'm going to talk to Coach Scott about this a little bit too later, but that opening night against Haskell, first of all, we get both the women and the men playing the same night.
Yeah.
And there wasn't much room in that place. I think they actually had to turn some people away at the gate.
Yeah.
What kind of atmosphere, you know, when Wilson Fieldhouse gets going, is it for the team?
Yeah, it's. I mean, I think in the NAI, it's one of the top venues in the NAI, and you know, everybody that's experienced it, you know, will tell you that it's so loud and it's a horrible. You know, we always talk about a horrible practice den because you can't, if you're not looking at somebody, they can't hear what you're saying. You know, because it's just so big and so old. But I mean, on game days, it's amazing, and you know, and we get our students in there, and you know, we have great community support, especially when we're winning, which has always been the case. When it's full, it's loud, and you know, that's kind of hurt us a little bit when, you know, we kind of switched our, you know, COVID switched our schedule, you know, and our class schedule, and it's, you know, we get done earlier after Thanksgiving, and so this is the second year in a row it's happened, you know, and we've lost 2 games at home, which, you know, who knows what would happen, but I would like our chances with our crowd, you know, for, you know, 3 to 5 points, you know, just crowd noise. So, but it is what it is, you know, but I mean, having those, you know, those fans in those early games and our students, they're pumped, and we can't wait to get them back, you know, January 10th, class to start, and we have some big games there, and we can't wait to get them back, so.
That's great. Well, let's kind of dive into the unfun part, I guess you'd say. You know, you start out 7-0, you know, 3-0 in conference play, and then you kind of hit a little bit of a skid. You lose all those games by, you know, 5 points to a Bethel program that won the KCAC last year as a top 25 team. Returned almost everybody, top guys in the, you know, some of the all-conference players that they have, you know, in a tough game. But, you know, Kansas Wesleyan is kind of loaded up, and I've heard, you know, talk to Casey Weeder a little bit, and just kind of looking around, you know, transfers have come in, and there's some players that have come into the program or into the conference this year that are really difference makers, and, you know, so had a little tough stretch. So, you know, take a tough loss, but you look at Kansas Wesleyan, I don't know how you felt about it, but possibly one of the, maybe, I don't know if Kansas Wesleyan had the best first half and you guys had one of your worst, but to come back and to make a game of that, you know, says a lot about your team as well. But, you know, we talked a little bit about the mindset that the guys have had with these close losses, a bucket here and there. You know, what is it that kind of brought them back last night, or, you know, was able to get it done last night, you know, where we just had missed it those few times before?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think there's any one thing you can put your finger on. I mean, the guys have been in it, and they're here and they're playing, and it's just been, you know, we're just, every game there's been 3 or 4 things that have just not gone our way, and like, you know, I feel like, you know, on the offensive and defensive end, I feel like, you know, your team, you know, that happens, you know, a few games, teams start looking for, hey, what's going to happen now, you know. I mean, they just start looking for bad things to happen. So, I mean, we just keep preaching, and, you know, last night we were able to get the stops, and we were able to get a couple buckets, and like you said, Joe Johnson has a career night. Those are things that you have to have happen to get back off, and, off that losing streak. And once you're off the losing streak, you never know what happens, because it wasn't like we're ever playing bad basketball. If you look at the 4 teams we lost to, none of them have a losing record in the KCAC. I mean, Avila's 4-4. Bethany, I think, is 5-2. Bethel is the only one that's under 500, maybe, and now they're back to 500. And they're obviously one. We're ranked top 10 in the nation. So I mean, it's just there hadn't been a bad loss, and we've been in every game. It's just finding a way to win. And I think the frustrating thing maybe is that we have so many returners, and hey, let's figure it out earlier. But I would rather be playing our best basketball late in the year than here in December and and kind of fizz out. So we'll figure it out. The guys are still in it. They're still playing hard. We're not switching too many things up because, like you say, why would you whenever you're in every game you're playing against good competition? So, but we'll make some tweaks and we'll figure it out.
Well, and if I remember, Greg, you didn't start out 8-0 last year in conference. You were actually maybe below 500 after 8 games in the conference.
We have a COVID pause.
Yeah,
and we lost 3 in a row last year.
Okay.
So I mean, we've been here. So
that's what I was just going on memory there. Through 8 games, I thought we were just below 500, and then finished 3rd in the conference.
Exactly.
So like you said, getting to playing the best basketball come February and into March, that's the goal. But got a little bit of a break coming up here, and then be able to get back to it. And we're going to get a little bit more into what's coming up here for the Braves, as they do have a couple more games here before the break, and then even over the kind of the holiday break before the students get back. And we're going to take a timeout, and when we come back, we'll discuss what to look forward to coming up here with Ottawa University Braves basketball. You're listening to Hoop Talk from here at the Primetime Grill in South Ottawa on 1220 and 103.7 FM KOFO.
Tired of the same boring burgers from yet another national chain? Break that chain with a visit to Ottawa's locally owned and operated Primetime Grill. What have they got? How about 8 kinds of salad for lunches that are light on calories and loaded with flavor? Maybe you'd like a big, crispy platter of fish and chips. Hot wings? Pork loin. Of course, if you still want that burger, you can choose from 7 mouth-watering options. Primetime Grill. What are you in the mood for?
132 conference championships, 146 NAIA scholar teams, 43 NAIA national tournament appearances, and 237 All-Americans. Ottawa University has a long and rich tradition of Braves athletes that continue to compete at the highest level of competition, utilizing state-of-the-art facilities, accomplished coaches, and a spirit that only comes from wearing the black and gold. Push yourself to limits you never imagined as a student athlete at Ottawa University. Visit ottawa.edu/OUKS.
This view was worth a hike.
Right? And it's a good way to stay on top of my health.
Yes, I'm Cologuard, a prescription colon cancer screening option for people 45 plus at average risk. Have you screened for colon cancer?
Not yet.
Don't wait. It's more treatable when caught in early stages.
Tell me more.
Cologuard is non-invasive and it's used at home. It detects altered DNA in your stool to find 92% of colon cancers.
92%?
Yep, even those in early stages.
This was seen in a clinical study with patients 50 and older. Any positive result should be followed by a diagnostic colonoscopy. False positive and negative results may occur. Cologuard is not a replacement for colonoscopy in high-risk patients. Do not use if you have had adenomas, have inflammatory bowel disease and certain hereditary syndromes, or a personal or family history of colon cancer.
Most insured patients pay $0. Ask your provider or an online prescriber if Cologuard is right for you, or visit Cologuard.com.
I'm in.
Today's job market is full of demand for skilled trade workers. Electricians, welders, mechanics, these and other trades are the backbone of every community. They're also a huge part in making sure the Army National Guard is always fulfilling its mission of service to our country and communities. Soldiers train to keep the power flowing, engines running, and supplies moving. The skilled trades these soldiers perform are the same ones needed in today's civilian workforce. Army National Guard soldiers are on the fast track to learning skills that can set them up for success at home with companies looking to hire the best. With options from plumber to helicopter mechanic and everything in between, soldiers are able to select the trades that best fit their lives. Their resumes are being built through their paid training and part-time service. Find out how you too can learn a trade profession and serve your community and country by visiting NationalGuard.com. Sponsored by the Kansas Army National Guard, aired by the Kansas Association of Broadcasters and this station.
And back here at Primetime Grill, Luke Queen with you here for Ottawa University Braves Hoop Talk, joined by assistant coach Phil McClintock. And so Coach, got the win last night and snapped the losing streak, and so now looking to kind of start a winning streak at this point.
For sure.
And with the York College planning to come in on Saturday, we talked a little bit earlier about it. They've missed a couple games here recently with a little bit of the, COVID protocol thing. So we're still hoping that gets to be played, and then as well next week go on the road and play at McPherson, which is, I've been out to that McPherson matchup, and that's always a tough place to play. And they've got a good community support, maybe same as you guys, same as us, is not having the student support, but hopefully we can have an opportunity to play Saturday, and Saturday afternoon, 3:00 against York. Like I said, I haven't played a couple times here recently, so give me a little bit about what I'm sure you guys have scouted it. I know you guys well enough. What are you seeing out of York that might be a little bit different maybe than you see from other teams in the conference?
Yeah, I mean, we watched them. I mean, we're going to act like we're going to play. I mean, I think we will, but I mean, you never know with COVID, which we dealt with it last year, and I think we're mostly through it. But I mean, this is our first kind of bout with kind of the unknown, which isn't cool, but we'll deal with it. And we scouted them. They're good. They're very similar to they always are. They're super talented. They're big. They're athletic. They gamble on defense, shoot a bunch of tough shots, and if they're making them, they could be tough and they could beat you. And they beat us last year at home, and I mean, it's a game. Obviously, every game we preach to our guys is important, and we lost 4 in a row, and then we just won.
Today's job market is full of demand for skilled trade workers. Electricians, welders, mechanics, these and other trades are the backbone of every community. They're also a huge part in making sure the Army National Guard is always fulfilling its mission of service to our country and communities. Soldiers train to keep the power flowing, engines running, and supplies moving. The skilled trades these soldiers perform are the same ones needed in today's civilian workforce. Army National Guard soldiers are on the fast track to learning skills that can set them up for success at home with companies looking to hire the best. With options from plumber to helicopter mechanic and everything in between, soldiers are able to select the trades that best fit their lives. Their resumes are being built through their paid training and part-time service. Find out how you too can learn a trade profession and serve your community and country by visiting NationalGuard.com. Sponsored by the Kansas Army National Guard, aired by the Kansas Association of Broadcasters and this station.
And we're back here at Primetime Grill. Luke Queen with you. A little technical difficulty, so we'll, kind of pick up where we left off there. Phil, we were talking about York, the athleticism, the expectation of, like you said, they have athletes that good size and make some tough shots. Beat us last year here in Wilson Fieldhouse, but, going to try and get them back for that one this time around. And then when you get after York, travel on the road and take on McPherson. McPherson, again, usually, as they are usually, right in the middle of it, as well as you guys, and the well-coached team usually have some real good athletes and a good basketball program out there. What kind of you kind of think maybe you could see out of McPherson? Are they going to do anything different as well at zone or press or something like that?
Yeah, I've been able. I mean, you never know. Because I do primarily, I do most scouts. So I mean, I see some teams more than others. So I've been lucky to be able to see McPherson a lot. I haven't seen York as much. But obviously watching a couple of games of theirs, recent games, have that scouted. But I mean, with MAC, they do the same thing they've done since TJ does a great job. TJ Eskelson, he took over a couple years ago. They have a D1 transfer from San Diego State, Ben Pyle. I mean, they're good, and they press. They play actually very similar to us, which is kind of, I feel like, the last 2 or 3 years why it's been such a close matchup, is because we play the same styles. And so, on the road there, they always seem to play better. And they have a couple good home wins this year. So, I mean, they will press you. They play, take tough shots. They're very physical defensively, and they'll run and jump some. I mean, so we have to, we haven't seen a ton of zone. We've seen mostly man-to-man. We haven't seen a ton of junk defense, and I think that's what we'll see from MAC more than others. So.
It's a little bit. They like to change it up a little bit more often, and
they do, and they're physical, and the full court press. You just don't see it much. I mean, you really don't see it much in the college game anymore. And then, I guess you do see a little bit of run and jump stuff, not much zone, but they'll do it more than others. So yeah.
All right, and it has been every game I've watched with McPherson over the last few years. It just seems like it's always going to come down to the last minute.
It is.
A big shot somewhere, or a couple times it's been an actual big defensive play.
Yeah.
A steal late to seal it. I remember, 2 years ago winning it out, getting the outright taken care of for the regular season out there, was a big defensive stop by you guys. And, that it is always a fun game. Before, while over the break, I know we'll get to talk, we'll have another hoop talk before then, but just to kind of look ahead, because you're going to go out of conference over the break. Last conference game of the first semester is that game at MAC, and then it's not until January 5th when you play Oklahoma Wesleyan at home. But in between there, you got a couple good programs on the slate, traveling to Briarcliff, and I know I had to ask where it was exactly, but up in Iowa, I've heard of Briarcliff, and then Concordia coming to Ottawa University. Have you gotten much of scouting done on those teams as well yet, or are
no? That's the least of our worries. I mean, that's a great question. So we follow teams we're going to play. So I mean, Briarcliff, obviously, great program. We know their coach. Their coach has, when he was a red coat when we were at the national tournament just the last couple of years, and he knows some of the players that I played against in college. So we have a little bit of a connection that way, and him and Coach Steve have kind of taken on. So that's one of the reasons we're going up there to play. And then Concordia, obviously, us beating them at the national tournament, those guys are really good dudes, and they're like, hey, let's just get something going so we can play, and they probably want revenge, whatever. They're really, really good, and so we'll have a couple good tests, which, I mean, I think it's great. I think it's going to be good for us. See somebody different, you're going north and playing some different conferences, and then obviously after Christmas getting, Concordia before you play Oklahoma Wesleyan, they're going to play at a very similar pace, shoot that many threes. Like they're a similar team to Oklahoma Wesleyan. So it's going to be good for us, and we look forward to seeing, some other teams. But no, we haven't scouted them. I haven't watched any film. We're worried about the next 2 games.
I figure, that's probably the way it would go, and you got a little time before you have to, for sure. But I never quite know just exactly how much you guys might even just be watching statistics and know what their kind of what their games are going like for them.
Definitely following, not watching film.
So we've got York on Saturday. Hopefully, we're planning to play 3:00 tip for that one, and then on the road on Monday at McPherson. So to close out conference, get yourselves back in above 500. I know is really right now. Obviously, that's going to be the goal, get that back to a winning streak. Tough opponents is always in the KCAC, no matter where you play them, but, it's always nice to go back to the confines of Wilson Fieldhouse, and I know it's going to be a fun atmosphere, hopefully, on Saturday. I plan to be there anyway and make it as fun as I can. But, yeah, it is an opportunity there, and Also wanted to just throw it out, anybody, I know quite a few vouchers for tickets were handed out to the community for receiving their COVID vaccines and booster shots. And so if you've got that available, there's a couple games coming up that are on that ticket, on that voucher. Go ahead and use them. Saturday afternoon, 3 o'clock against York, or I think it's still good on the 29th or the 5th there against Concordia and Oklahoma Wesleyan as well. So hopefully get some more community out there and really get involved, because it is a fun place to watch a basketball game and a lot of fun basketball to watch. Definitely. Just as a fan. So, Phil, I appreciate you coming in, sitting down with me here tonight, kind of going through what's been a rough spell, but hopefully turning it around here. Good luck this weekend,
for sure.
And we'll talk to you again soon.
All right, thanks for having us.
All right, we're gonna take another time out. When we come back, we'll have Ottawa University women's head coach Tarnisha Scott joining us to talk about how the women's program's doing, and we will be back after this break. You're listening to Ottawa University Braves Hoop Talk on 1220 and 103.7 FM, KOFO.
Tired of the same boring burgers from yet another national chain? Break that chain with a visit to Ottawa's locally owned and operated Primetime Grill. What have they got? How about 8 kinds of salad for lunches that are light on calories and loaded with flavor? Maybe you'd like a big, crispy platter of fish and chips. Hot wings? Pork loin. Of course, if you still want that burger, you can choose from 7 mouth-watering options. Primetime Grill. What are you in the mood for?
Ottawa University has positioned itself as a distinctive and rapidly expanding institution, known for its innovative educational models, exceptional value, and special ability to prepare diverse student populations for lifetimes of enlightened faith, exemplary service, inspired leadership, and personal significance. With numerous undergraduate and graduate degrees in business, education, arts and sciences, athletics, and more, you'll gain the specific expertise you need for a lifetime of significance and prosperity. Find out more by visiting ottawa.edu/OUKS.
Want to learn a new language so it will actually stick? Try Babbel. Practice real-life conversations in the Babbel app.
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas?
Get personalized help in Babbel's live online classes.
Classes are limited to 6 people, so everyone can get the help they need.
Review words and phrases with fun games, or dive into the culture with short videos. Whatever your learning style, Babbel gives you the tools you need. Babbel, more ways to learn. Now try Babbel free at Babbel.com. That's BABBEL.com.
Shop on eBay this holiday season to get more for your dough on stand mixers, or get more for your buck on this season's hottest tech and gaming gear. And on eBay, you can even get more last-minute deals delivered right on time. It's the biggest deals of December, so get more because you save more with eBay's one-day-only last-minute deals. Get more when you get it on eBay.
What3words.com is part of a new mapping system that the Franklin County Emergency Communications Center can use to determine your location. This system divides the entire surface of the Earth into a grid of 3-meter squares. Each square is assigned a unique sequence of 3 words that will never change. These words can be provided to emergency personnel to direct them to your exact location. Suppose you're in a large public area, such as a hiking park or stadium. An address might give the 911 dispatcher a general idea of where to find you, but What3words.com narrows that general idea to a precise spot. You can utilize this service online at What3words.com. That's What3words.com, or download the app for immediate access. The Franklin County Emergency Communications Center encourages parents to add the app to their child's phone and instruct them in how to use it. As always, if you have questions, the Franklin County Emergency Communications Center is here to help. This message is brought to you by the Franklin County Emergency Communications Center and KOFO.
Welcome back here to Primetime Grill. Luke Queen with you here this evening, and joining me now here for Ottawa University Braves Hoop Talk is women's head basketball coach Tarnisha Scott. Coach, welcome back. Good to see you again.
Thank you. We're back already.
Already, I know. It really does. It's hard to believe it. Guys, but into February, and here we are already at December, but maybe a little bit more active this year than you could be when you first came in. You've been here for about 19 months,
Yeah.
20 months now maybe, and that first year was yeah, very little off-season work and recruiting only by video and phone and Zoom, and now it seems like you're getting to see people play and have face-to-face communication with them. So
it's been awesome though, just to not have any interruptions in the season so far. It's been awesome to try to have some consistency with practice and everything that we're doing. So I'm happy that we are moving forward.
Good. Yeah. And, I wanted to start out with talking a little bit about that. You came in and was doing recruiting and, team building and everything else you were trying to do during that COVID. You had all those stoppages. But, started out last year, I think it was right about this time, it was just you.
Oh, yeah.
And then during the season, all of a sudden, Coach Grant kind of got around, and now the program really building up, and you brought in a GA as well. So, and now I'm not going to be able to remember how many exact girls you have on the roster, but, it's expanded quite a bit as well.
Yeah, I think right now we're right at 19.
19?
Yeah, right
and
at 19.
Thinking, hey, from really building the program and, so brought in a lot of, young people. We were talking during the break about, the young ladies you brought in and looking to make contributions already and playing a lot of big minutes for you. Kind of tell us a little bit about some of those girls is really where I'd like to start.
Yeah, we brought in 6 freshmen, so I knew coming into this year that we would have to work to kind of gain that consistency just with freshmen making that transition. But I just thought that we were fortunate enough to really get some high-level freshmen due to, like, a lot of the transfers that we normally would have been able to recruit. They stayed that extra year at the junior colleges. So then it left a lot of freshmen with nowhere to go that maybe otherwise would have went to Division II schools or maybe to a high-level junior college. We were able to get some of those kids. So I like our freshman class. I do. I think that the future is really bright. I think that they work hard. They compete at a high level. And I'm sure, as many people have noticed, we're able to play a little bit faster, but do a lot of different things defensively as well. So I think that they're still growing, they're still maturing. They're very young, right? As I think is obvious to everyone. But I just think that they play hard, they love basketball, and they're loving the process so far. So I enjoy being able to give them minutes right along. I didn't expect to give them so many minutes, but, I think that's a part of the process, it's just being able to make those adjustments, and those kids are really stepping up in some big ways for us.
Absolutely. And, like you said, you're playing a little faster maybe, this year than what you were last year with the freshmen even involved in that. And I've been watching the games and catching streams whenever you're on the road. And, I noticed that defensively, it seems like you're catching on really quickly. And I've noticed you change some defenses every once in a while. I've seen you press a couple times, I've seen you drop into a 2-3 zone on occasion and, kind of changing things up. Is that, something that you like to do, kind of changing the defenses as the game goes along, or is it more situational, we got to get, try and play catch-up or force some turnovers?
Yeah.
What is it that or is it just your style to kind of change it up throughout the game just to throw something different at them?
It's a little bit of both.
Okay.
It's a little bit of both. I mean, obviously, you don't want to allow the offense to get comfortable, right? So your job on defense is always to be a disruption to whatever they're doing, right? And so in order to do that, I think that if you stay in the same defense over and over again, that they make adjustments, but I think you have to always try to keep the offense off balance. So I do enjoy changing it up and having that ability, but a lot of us playing faster, we have one true post player. So you have to play faster, I mean, I want to play fast, but at the same time, with one true post player, you have to limit your amount of time you're going to be playing half-court defense, And so if we just play half-court defense the whole time, we're down there usually for 27, 26 seconds and trying to defend a post player that we don't have, another post player to really defend. So we have to try to play at that pace. And I think with us playing a lot of kids right now that we can uphold that pace for 40 minutes of a basketball game where usually a lot of teams can't, So I think that's an advantage for us. But then sometimes we get into games and we're like, look, they're killing us on this or that, and we need to make an adjustment, right? And so I think that we have the ability to do that as well. So it's a little bit of both.
Okay. All right. And that's fun to me, like you said, it can kind of get stagnant if you just kind of stick with one and don't allow other teams to make that, that transition, I guess, to, or just make the adjustment to beat the one type of defense. And that's fun to see. Like you said, you have one true post player, Kadish Payne, and does a great job down there, but can't guard two people very well. Very hard challenge.
Play 40 minutes, right? So
it's hard to play 40 minutes for anybody, especially at this point in the season. You might see it a little bit more in February when somebody's gotten that game shape, but consistently, but not right now for sure. Adding in, Coach Grant, we talked to her last year with her adding in the mid-season, but what has adding that graduate assistant, having that third voice when you brought in Monty Simpkins, I knew I'd mess up his name. I apologize, Monty.
It's okay.
Bringing in a graduate assistant, to kind of help out with running things. I know you were doing it all yourself there for 9 months, and then finally got Jasmine in, and now we've got another person. What is it that he's bringing to the table that you're glad to have him around for?
Yeah, I mean, he's done a great job. He's young, right? He's young, so he's able to actually provide. He does a lot of skill development with our players, right? He's in the gym a lot. He's even adding on to some recruiting for us, But he's very active, right? Very energetic. The girls like him because he still has, he's kind of close in age, so he can kind of relate to him. He's another voice. And then for us, he also, like in-game situations, he's kind of the calming voice because I'm in the middle of coaching the whole time, so I'm like, hey, talk to them when they come out or different things like that. But I just think he has a good perspective on the game, great basketball IQ, they're able to add some valuable input to what we're doing. But he's come in, he's been active right away. Most of the time in our practice, he's the one that's guarding Kanisha Payne, because who else is going to guard us to challenge her, right? So, he's very hands-on, and he's there wherever needed. So he's been a big addition to our program.
Well, I want to kind of go into last night here before we close out our first segment. Played well in the really well first quarter, and fairly well as a half. It was a tough second half for the girls. But honestly, I was watching friends hit some shots too, and that always helps things out when you, offensively. Kind of take us a little bit through that Friends game, to start with here. Just kind of catch us up on last night a little bit.
Yeah, I thought in the first half, kind of like you said, I thought our defense was really good. Our goal, if we can hold teams to 15 or less points in a quarter, I think that we did our job. First quarter, I think we held them to 9, and then that second quarter, maybe 12 or 13 points, we held them to. So, it was defense, and I think that as you watch us throughout the year, defense is going to be our story, right? If we're playing good defense, we're going to be pretty good. If we're not playing good defense, it's going to be difficult for us because right now we have all those young kids that are still trying to find their identity on offense and those type of things, and just getting used to playing basketball at the college level with tempo. So for me, right now, our focus is defense. If we can get our defense to be consistent, I think that we'll be pretty tough. What you saw in the second half was us give up 20-plus points in each quarter, which is never good, right? And so once that happens, that means now you have to score more than 20-plus points in a quarter, right? And I just think that that's pressure that we don't need to add to ourselves right now. With such a young group,
Mm-hmm.
So I think that we have to get after it on the defensive end. I think that if we're able to do that, I think we'll be fine.
Well, and I want to close the first segment here on a good note because prior to last night's game, I watched the game against Bethel, and a tight game, and then your group absolutely took over in the second half and kind of did what you were just talking about there. But, who is it that kind of has to flip that switch? Was it the entire group? Because they were all amazing against Bethel there and really turned it up defensively, and everybody was scoring. Was there something said amongst the girls that you know of, or was it just kind of they just got it done?
Well, at the end of the day, when we're at home, right, you want to protect home, right? And I think for us, the spark for us was Liz Vaughn that second half. Liz Vaughn got going, and it really changed the tempo. I think if you can get your seniors to get going, it allows the freshmen to kind of fall in line, and they'll catch on to that same intensity, right? But anytime we have our freshmen out there trying to lead, I don't think that's a good recipe for us right now, So I think Liz Vaughn got going. She got some easy buckets in that second half. And then as we talk about defense, we get to the fourth quarter and we hold them to 4 points in 10 minutes. So the defense is good. I think that when we're getting stopped, we have that energy. We're able to get out and score in transition, get some easy buckets, and it just builds confidence from there. So I think that's what you saw in that Bethel game.
Absolutely. It was a lot of fun. And like you said, Liz Bunn in that second half, it was scoring, it was rebounding, it was intercepting passes and getting transition opportunities. And it was a lot of fun, and a lot of girls got involved in that scoring in that second half, and it really was fun to watch them feed off of each other. Well, we're going to take our first break here, and we'll be back with more with Ottawa Braves women's head coach Tarnisha Scott. After this, you're listening to Hoop Talk from the Primetime Grill here on 1220 and 103.7 FM KOFO.
132 conference championships, 146 NAIA scholar teams, 43 NAIA national tournament appearances, and 237 All-Americans. Ottawa University has a long and rich tradition of Braves athletes that continue to compete at the highest level of competition, utilizing state-of-the-art facilities, accomplished coaches, and a spirit that only comes from wearing the black and gold. Push yourself to limits you never imagined as a student athlete at Ottawa University. Visit ottawa.edu/OUKS. I shouldn't have to tell you this, but the big game isn't nearly as much fun when you have to watch it on a small screen. So make a play for Ottawa's Primetime Grill. With more than 40 screens, dozens of meal options, and a full-service bar, it's the place to be, from the first pitch to the last call. And you don't have to watch alone. Check out the party rooms at Primetime Grill that you can combine and hold as many as 100 hungry fans. Take a time out from that small screen you're watching now and check out PrimetimeGrill.com for room rental and package details. For game time, it's prime time.
This view was worth a hike.
Right? And it's a good way to stay on top of my health.
Yes, I'm Cologuard, a prescription colon cancer screening option for people 45 plus at average risk. Have you screened for colon cancer?
Not yet.
Don't wait. It's more treatable when caught in early stages.
Tell me more.
Cologuard is non-invasive and it's used at home. It detects altered DNA in your stool to find 92% of colon cancers.
92%?
Yep, even those in early stages.
This was seen in a clinical study with patients 50 and older. Any positive result should be followed by a diagnostic colonoscopy. False positive and negative results may occur. Cologuard is not a replacement for colonoscopy in high-risk patients. Do not use if you have had adenomas, have inflammatory bowel disease and certain hereditary syndromes, or a personal or family history of colon cancer.
Most insured patients pay $0. Ask your provider or an online prescriber if Cologuard is right for you, or visit Cologuard.com.
I'm in.
What is radon? Home exposure to radon gas is the leading cause of lung cancer death in the United States for non-smokers. In Kansas, 1 in 4 homes will test at or above the EPA action level. The Surgeon General recommends all homes be tested and fixed if necessary. To test your home, check with your local agricultural extension office for an inexpensive home test kits or find a certified professional, per Kansas state law, to test during a real estate transaction. Consider building radon resistant for your new home. Call 1-800-693-5343 or visit kansasradonprogram.org for more information. Test, fix, save a life. This message brought to you by the Kansas Radon Program, the Kansas Association of Broadcasters, and this station.
And back here at Primetime Grill, Luke Queen with you for Ottawa University Braves Hoop Talk, and here alongside women's head coach Tarnisha Scott. And Coach, we kind of talked about the last couple games that, almost carbon copies each other, one good, one bad a little bit. But I want to kind of go back because when you got here, we talked about it, how much COVID affected a lot of your first year. With stoppages, with recruiting, with everything else. And then the home opener, I talked to Coach McClintock about it as well. Haskell comes to town. They brought people, and lots of people. They brought lots of people.
Yeah.
And the student section was in good voice that night. Was packed over there as well. And To me, it feels like that might have been your first packed house experience at Wilson Fieldhouse.
Mm-hmm.
What was that environment like for the girls, for you as a coach, to come out and have that going on?
I was looking for my jersey, man. Listen, the energy was amazing. I mean, and it was contagious. You know what I mean? Like, it was amazing. It was loud. And it was my first time since being here that I realized I needed more hand signals, I'm like screaming. And they're like, we can't hear you, But like you said, all of last year, we didn't really have fans there. So it was never that loud, But anybody's ever been in Wilson Fieldhouse knows it gets rocking, and it's very hard to hear, which is a great environment to play in. So we have hand signals now. You'd be glad to know that. But it was great, and I think the girls really enjoy it. They feed off the crowd and the energy, and they get to play in front of their friends and all these other things. So it's an amazing place to be, and I had fun, Like I said, I was looking for my jersey. I wanted to play, but no, it was exciting, fun, and Haskell's very scrappy. They play extremely hard, so we had to earn every bit of it.
It was a fun. I was there. Just the environment was fun, like you said. But Haskell, they came to play, and I think they fed a little bit off of it's a short drive from Lawrence to get down here. So it was good that those two, Ottawa and Haskell could get that together, and not only that, but to play both women and men, kind of like the conference goes, But a lot of times early on in the season, you guys are playing on your own, and so it doesn't always happen that way. So it was a lot of fun to see it that way, and came away with the win to start it off on the right foot. But we talked a little bit in the break. Your schedule is to say is just it was tough. I mean,
absolutely.
You play Central Methodist after that. Hastings College is good. You get a win against Barclay, but then you go right into conference, and you're facing the top 10 team in the nation in Sterling. They do have a loss now, but, that's KCAC play a little bit for you, too. But you have to open up against, you said it, maybe the top 5 teams, rated teams in the conference.
Yeah.
Kind of throwing those freshmen into the fire a little bit there, but what was that? Maybe kind of how are they going to learn? Because you got to play them again coming around. What are those girls kind of seeing now, and maybe thinking about as you guys move forward, looking towards second semester a little bit?
Yeah, I think that when you're hit with that type of adversity, early on, my hope and my belief is that it prepares you for the long ride, right? We know that there's tons of amazing teams in the KCAC. It's a long conference season of play. So hopefully that helped build some initial toughness, right? Help us fight through some adversity and just understand exactly how hard it is, because I think that on the flip side of this, we could have been playing some of our lower teams ranked in the conference right now and maybe got, maybe ahead of ourselves or overconfident in a way. But I think right now, we're very humble. I think that we understand just exactly how hard it's going to be each and every night. There is no such thing as a night off in the KCAC. So while us going and playing those teams, we played Kansas Wesleyan on the road. We played Tabor on the road. As you mentioned, we played Sterling. We played Avila. Like, right now, we played the top 5 teams in our conference already, and we're barely into December, So with a young group, I think that mentally, I think that prepares them to know exactly how hard we have to work each and every day, and every single night is going to be a fight. Every single night, and, we're going to have to go out and work extremely hard.
And you played, from what I saw, you played very competitively in a lot of those games. And there were stretches where, all these newcomers that are coming in and gelling a team together here, like you said, early December, and already played 8 conference games, which is crazy to think of. But, a big conference, 24 conference games on that schedule, to play the top 5 and to be where you are is still going to be, it's still nothing to be upset about. Got 2 more games here in conference before a little bit of a break. Got an exhibition game over the holiday, and then one other, I believe. Yeah. But you've got York coming in on Saturday. First thing I noticed was it's a 1 o'clock tip. And, they're 18 to 22, 23 years old. You throw me a basketball at that age, and I'd play at 2 a.m. I didn't care. But, how are they how do you prepare a little bit differently for a 6 o'clock tip as opposed to a 1 o'clock in the afternoon tip-off?
I mean, well, right now we practice from 12 to 2, so it should kind of flow right in line with our practice time, to be honest with you, So, but I want to get them right. I mean, I want us to be alert. Hopefully we'll be more alert, and not because I think that we started a lot of games slow, I think prior to the Friends game, our first half was just slow, and then we come out of halftime and kind of like what you saw in the Bethel game, and we'd be on fire. So it just took too long for us to get going. So I'm like, okay, listen, this is our practice time, so we've just kind of been working kind of in that same speed, that same zone. But they're young. We're going to get rest. They'll rest on Friday night, and it'll just be about work. We have 2 games, as you mentioned, left before we go to a long break. So my message to them right now is, like, let's stay the course, Let's hear, like, we have business to take care of, stay focused. Got a home game and then one on the road. Always want to take care of home when you're fortunate to play at home, right, over this long stretch. So hopefully that helps buy in. It is an early tip, but we are at home. So hopefully, that's good for us.
Yeah, sleeping in your own beds. And, York, I don't know what their plan is, but that'd be an early bus trip if they came down on Saturday or if they're coming in on Friday night not sleeping in their own bed, which, hey, can be a little bit of a difference. But, York, what do you kind of expect out of York? I'm sure you've done a scout on them. You've, got some ideas. Are they zone team, pressing team? They like to get out in transition or play man-to-man? What do you kind of see out of York?
Yeah, I mean, they're going to press us a little bit, but it's going to be a zone press for the most part, But then it's not something that they do over the course of a game, right? I don't want to say what I think, but what I've seen, as far as them defensively, they're going to mix it up, right? They're going to play a little bit of zone here, a little bit of man here, but for the most part, they're going to be in man. And they have some good kids, too. And one thing about York, even from playing them last year and watching them this year, they're a team you got to play 40 minutes. They are not going away. They're going to be scrappy. They're going to play hard, and they're going to play together. They move the ball extremely well together as a team, and they're a team that plays with so much confidence, and I've just seen that even the last game they played was Oklahoma Wesleyan, and it was a tough fight, So York is battling, they're scrappy, and it's going to be like any other game in the KCAC. That's my message to our kids. You're going to have to work, and you're going to have to go take one. It's not going to be given. It's not going to be easy, So for me, another tough game on Saturday, So we just have to go out and really earn one.
And then with what happens, you've experienced it with, you had not this week, but previous week, four games in 7 days. And then you've had a little bit of a reprieve with this week, just having a couple games, but then you turn around and you play on Monday. So again, it's 3 games in 6 days, and you go on the road that day to McPherson. The Bulldogs, it's McPherson, they got good basketball in that area, and they play hard. Kind of anything unique that McPherson might do that you don't see on a regular basis in the KPAC, or is it more the,
well, I'll tell you one thing that's
being
unique
ready?
Is they have Brittany Roberts. That's very unique. Brittany Roberts is tough. I mean, she's 2-time All-American already.
KOFO 1220 and 103.7 FM.